This is the KTT Mint Linear Switches, another budget switch from KTT, and some say these are smooth on stock. So how do they sound and feel? Let's find out. But first, a quick message from our channel sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay is your one-stop shop into making your dream PCB come to life. They offer a lot of materials for your PCB needs, just like an FR4, aluminum, and even copper base. They also offer this on different colors for your PCB, and plus you can get an instant coat once you're done picking. So if you are interested in making your dream PCB the easy way, check out PCBWay, links in the description. What is going on, guys? Ox here and welcome back to my channel. We are back with another sound test, and this time we are taking a look and listen at the KTT Mint. This is a budget linear from KTT, and this is like my third time trying out a KTT switch. If you guys can remember, I tried out the KTT HaluHalo and the KTT Sea Salt, which both switches are hella smooth on stock and one's lube. So I'm really interested into trying out the KTT Mints. So the switches are kind of like the same, with the Sea Salt with a 45 gram actuation and 53 gram on the bottom out force. So the only thing that's different between the two is that this one has a 15mm springs and the Sea Salt uses a 13mm but progressive springs. So in today's video, it's going to be the usual stock versus lube comparison, a sound comparison versus the Sea Salt KTT, and other budget linears like the Akko, Jwick Blacks, and even the Got Yellow Pro. And of course, a material breakdown of the switches. And lastly, if you want to hear my own thoughts and opinion about the switch, please do stick around at the end of the sound test. And speaking of sound test, let me give you guys a quick disclaimer before we start. That the sound and experience may vary depending on your keyboard build, meaning to say it might sound and feel different to you and your keyboard. I'm using, of course, our Vega 65 with a polycarbonate plate, a PCB to plate foam, and one case foam. The switches was lubed with a Krydox 205 grade 0 and 105 grade 0 on the springs. The keycaps used on the sound test is the Geek Arc PBT. So with all of that out of the way, please do enjoy the sound test on the KTT Mints. So that was the sound test on the KTT Mints. Let me know what you think about them on the comment section down below. I would love to have a discussion with you guys, so feel free to type it in. Before we talk about my own thoughts and opinion on the Switch, you already know what's next. Let's break down the materials that was used on the Switch. As you can see, this is a 3-pin switch and is using a kale style housing. So we have polycarbonates for the top housing. We have nylon for the bottom housing. And of course, we have POM for the stem. Lastly, the springs, which is a 15mm springs and has a 45-gram actuation force and a 53-gram bottom out force. So that was a material breakdown on the KTT Mints, and if you made it up to this point, I would like to say thank you for staying, and again, please do remember that the sound and experience may vary depending on your keyboard build, so we might not have the same experience on the Switch and it might sound and feel different for you and on your board. Finally, let's all talk about my thoughts on the feel. On stock, well, it's really smooth like the KTT Sea Salts. Like, I'm really surprised how smooth it was. I didn't feel any scratchiness as well. It didn't feel sluggish or has that plastic feeling that I always talk about when using a Switch on stock, but it's just smooth. And of course, you know I always lube my Switches, so once lube, it felt a bit more better to type on, but it's not that night and day difference, to be honest. But you just feel that tad bit smoothness just because you lube them. The 45-gram actuation is a bit light, but the 53-gram bottom out force is fairly decent when typing on them. Although I kinda want a heavier typing experience on the Switches, so I might spring swap them in the future. With that being said, some of you might find this light when you are coming from a heavier actuation force, so keep that in mind when picking this up. But give it a week or two, I'm sure you'll get used to it. Moving on to my thoughts on the sound. It's more on the higher pitch linear, it has that clackiness on my build. The stock and lube sound comparison isn't that noticeable, lubing them would just make the clack a bit subtle, so I am really loving the sound profile because you know I really like high pitch switches and I can say they sound a bit close to the SP stars when it comes to the clack, but just a small similarity. I'm not outright saying that they sound like the SP stars, but comment what you think on the sound. So overall, these are really worth the price. On stock, there's no scratchiness, no spring or lift ping, like really it's just smooth. The Switches is on the budget side like the Akko and the Jwick Blacks. It would just boil down to your preference. As mentioned, it has the same actuation and materials like the KTT Sea Salt, so you only have to weigh in if you like to try the progressive spring or the longer spring that these have. For me, both are really great for a linear switch and would suggest the KTT Sea Salt if you haven't tried a progressive spring. And also, as always, I would suggest buying a pack of 10 pieces just to get a feel on it and just try to see and go from there if you really like the Switch. So yeah, that is it for the video guys. I hope you all enjoyed another KTT Switch review, and for me, I really enjoyed using them for almost a week. And if you do enjoy the video, please don't forget to hit the like button and let's try to aim the 50 likes as usual, and the likes really helps out my channel, so yeah, please do consider. So what's next? Well, I do have more KTT Switches review coming up and some Kinetic Lab switches. So if you can, please do watch out for that. And again, shout out to PCBWay for sponsoring today's video. So please don't forget to hit the like button, share if you want, and of course, subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys on the next sound test. Peace.